it's not about a volume that you're doing. There are in the industry, for the real estate industry, there are 17 derogatories that somebody could pull.
You're listening to the W.L.E.R.E Real Estate Show, a podcast that discusses the intricacies of real estate investing with your host, Marcus E. Maloney. Marcus is a real estate investor best known for being the equity king. He's been awarded that moniker because he and his team find amazing real estate deals. He will be talking with investors who have done some transformational things in the real estate industry. They'll discuss their process, their strategies, and how their investments transform their lives and the communities they invest in. We welcome you to the We Love Equity Real Estate Show.
The We Love Equity Show is brought to you by W.L.E.R.E, widely recognized as an outstanding resource for real estate investors with exceptional education, networking, and support, along with profit-enhancing benefits and all aspects of real estate investing. Visit W.L.E.R.E at www.azrea.org. That's visit W.L.E.R.E at www.azreia.org. Hello, welcome to another episode of the We Love Equity Real Estate Show. I am your host, Marcus Maloney, and today we have a very special guest. This person here is a professional when it comes to direct mail marketing. He can not only do your direct mail marketing, but he also services and sells printing equipment. So I want to talk to him because he did my direct mail for a while and just wanted to catch back up with him and see what's new, what's going on in the industry. So Allan, how are you doing today?
Good afternoon, Marcus. It's always great to see you.
All right, great. So I was doing direct mail, guys, for a while, and this is the person that I work directly with. He's right here in the Valley. His company is Allan Goodman, Partners in Technology. So tell me, Allan, how did you get into the direct mail and marketing service industry?
Well, I actually started in 1987. This will be my 35th year. I started out as business mailing systems. And as time morphed, we added the Data One Direct, which we got a full line of Kyocera laser printers, and we were marketing that as well because it was an excellent printer for the mailing industry, low cost, high speed, and easy to work on. And we started in 1982 with AG Partners in Technology, which is my mailing equipment division, which we have the largest selection of equipment. Some of our customers, my largest customers, doing 3 million pieces a month for the travel industry.
Wow.
With our equipment. And so we sell printers, we sell folder attachments, we sell inserters that will take 2 or 3 pieces and fold it and put it into an envelope. Stamp affixers if people want live stamps. So we do, you name it, we can provide it. Our highest high-end inserter now runs at $12,500 an hour.
Wow.
But from there, because of a lot of issues and a lot of people that have known me, because we do sell nationwide, I developed direct mail leads. And that at one point, 8 years ago, was really kind of for the flipping industry. And so we designed a website primarily for flippers, and our average probably over the 8 years is over 1.5 million a year. And we were just kind of playing in the industry as I consider if I was a customer. We do have, a lot of people in and around the country that really do some high volumes with our equipment. So what I bring is the expertise and knowledge of the software side of it, all the postal regulations that are necessary to be postal compliant. And we know how to get it there quick. If you're on the East Coast, we can drop mail and it can be there in 2 days. If you decide to do postcards and you decide you want a quick response, first class is amazing. On the postcard side, we've been able to drop mail on a Friday, and I'm surprised that people are getting calls on Long Island, especially in New York, and getting the cards and calling it that day. Because if I dropped it on a Friday, they called on a Saturday, got the card, and then they called the customer or the real estate. And so that's the amazing part. That's the amazing part of the industry of having all this knowledge for 35 years.
And
And
I
we can
can
customize pretty much anything you want.
and I can attest, Allan, because you would do direct mail for me here in Phoenix and then mail it to the Midwest, and I would be getting calls the next day. So I can attest to your level of expertise in making sure the mail gets where it's supposed to get to. So how did you start doing direct mail for real estate investors? Because I met you through another investor. So how did you
Right.
get started?
Well, one of my customers, Investor Hub with Steve Baxter, a lot of people, he's not really well known around the country, but he's here in Phoenix. Justin Colby
Mhm.
and his group really got me started. And
And
he was
that's
here
who,
in Phoenix
yep,
and
that's
then
how I
moved to
met you.
Florida.
That's
Yeah,
how I met you, was through Justin Colby and
Colby. Right.
and Gabe Ostrowski. So those were the guys that I was working with at the time, and they were doing, 1 million pieces a year. So really high
Right.
volume with direct
Sorry, I had a
mail.
call.
So, all right. So, Allan, what are some key items you do when processing mail? Because a lot of people don't know the whole process. They think it's, hey,
Right.
just put the letter on an envelope and send it out. But there's like the walk sequence, there's sorting. So, what are some of the things that you guys do to make sure the mail hits pretty quickly?
Well, that is the most amazing thing about what we do. The thing that's so shocking is how many companies are doing mail for real estate people or just anybody and not actually cleaning the list per the postal regulations. You can go in and take a list and clean it just to create a barcode, and it will verify the good ones and the bad ones. Well, evidently, the guys who are not really cleaning it are leaving all the bad ones in. And everybody that I've ever talked to say, I get stacks of mail back. I can't believe, why am I getting stacks of mail back? And so what we do is we actually do sell a $5,000 software package that's pretty advanced. And what we do, once we clean it, we actually clean it through national change of address because we're tied in 24/7 into the mainframe of the post office. And so anybody, I could clean a list today and 2 days reclean it and somebody's moved. 33,000 people move every year or per month. I think it's per month. It's an
Mhm.
amazing number. And so we do national change of address. Out of that, we get the bad addresses. We can see all the duplications at that point, and we can check out the dupes. And then from there, we then send it up to another cloud system that actually does deceased, incarcerated, and do not mail. And
Oh,
if you want us to leave the deceased in, we will. Most people tend to do that. The do not mail we chuck out, and so the incarcerated, evidently, I kind of always kind of laugh about that one because it's got to be 90% of the lies that would hit,
right.
and have
Okay.
that come up, on the system. So once we get done cleaning the complete list, we're the only company that if you request it, we will hand you back everything we took out that was
Mhm.
negative. And so when we get done, we're always talking, anybody giving me 10,000 names, it's always about $1,000 that I'm saving somebody. So
Okay.
it's major. So from that standpoint, now we got it completely clean. We then send you your proofs back for approval. We never print anything without your approval. Even if we're going to do a repeat, we still send it back. The most important thing is it's really hysterical. I think I'm the only one that actually picks up the phone and calls the number on the piece just to see. And I've caught about 3 or 4 guys that, I think the worst is having no call, where it
Yep.
doesn't even, it's a bad phone number to start with. But the other side of it is having the phone ring 8 or 9 times, which is even worse because then you got people hanging up on you. But
Absolutely.
you should, so you want to shorten up that phone response.
So that, I mean, that's very, very key. So, because one of the things as real estate investors and as marketers, you send out this direct mail, and a lot of people say, wow, you know what? I got a ton of direct mail. A lot of my letters came back to me. But with you, with your service, and I always brag about this, I say, hey, you know what? When we do direct mail, we never get a piece of mail returned back to us, because the company that we use cleans the list and makes sure that every piece that we send out gets to the intended receiver. So there's never an error or someone getting a bad piece of mail. So that's excellent. That's a testament to the service that you provide. And then also, you know, you go through that filtration process, you know, a few times to make sure that the direct mail hits exactly where it's supposed to hit.
Correct. And then the other thing is, if you want to start out, we have a lot of people who will hand me a 10,000, 20,000 piece list and have a certain budget that they want either once a week, once every 2 weeks, once a
Mhm.
month. We normally don't want to list any longer than 2 months.
Okay.
3 months, we do have by the postal regulations. If I clean your list and I'm going through certain drops and I get to 90 days, I automatically have to re-clean the list. Now, it might not change or remove any of those people, but I have to verify and go through the same process just to make sure somebody didn't die or
Okay.
didn't move
So,
or whatever, you know.
so that's
So
good.
just to stop that mail to coming back, but
So
you
a
can send
person,
me a 5,000 piece name list and drop 2,500 and any frequency that you want. We can start you out if you want to try us out. You know, I'll do a special for Marcus at $750, which will be a minimum amount. And you pick whether you want to do a 3.5 by 5 postcard or 5.5 by 8.5, 6 by 9. Uh, when we do postcards, we always do UV coating on the front side, which is
Mhm.
all your informational. The variable is on the back side. And we normally tend not to put a coating on that because of the addressing side of it.
Right, right. See, and guys, listen, these are all key things that you don't have to worry about, because a company like AGPIT, they will definitely take care of all of that. So, like Allan said, if you have a list, you don't have to drop all 5,000 pieces or all 10,000 pieces at once. You can say, all right, Allan, I got 10,000 lists. I want to drop 25 this week, 25 the second week, 2,500 the third week, so on and so forth. That way you're not getting bombarded with a bunch of calls if you drop your whole batch at one time. So that's an excellent point that you make there, Allan.
Yeah, and then once we get started, we see how the post office is delivering in your area and how quick you get to calls. We can change the date of the drop, you know, and I just did that with a company in California. We switched them from a Friday to a Monday because actually the post office improved in California and they got calls on Saturday, which is really crazy. But they did, you know, considering California,
Yep.
postal workers in California, you know, versus other parts of the country. And so we switched them to Monday. It wasn't a big deal, you
Okay.
know.
And then
So
also what's good, what I like about it is you're tied directly into the US Postal Service. So it's not like you're just going and dropping this stuff off in the mail slot somewhere. You're actually taking this to the US Postal
sure.
Service.
Right. Well, we have the plant. Actually, our office is less than 2 miles from the main plant, the Phoenix CF plant. But the other side of it is if you're in the East Coast or in Seattle or wherever, and so what's crazy is the post office gives me an option that let's say you're in Seattle, Washington, and I have enough pieces I can put into a 2 foot tray to get it there in 2 days. What
Mhm.
is incredible is they allow me to get the Phoenix postal rate, not the New York rate. And then at
Wow.
that point is how cheap it is for me to get it to Seattle, I can do that. Now we do have a vendor in California that and does Las Vegas that I could do a skid of 250 pounds for about $90, and that's unheard of.
Yeah. I
Just
mean,
yeah, that's normally $300, $400 for most people. But this particular carrier I've been doing business with for about 10 years. And there are other carriers around the country, which is the primo of all primo logistic companies in the United States is not even a question, is Old Dominion. Their
Okay.
logistic service is bar none, unbelievable. Never a miss. If a trucker has an issue, they call me right on the phone, and I always leave my cell phone for them on their form that they can call me. And I've been able to fix things right over the phone. So
Yeah, see,
we're uh,
that's
we're very experienced, 35 years of experience, and from A to Z. And
and that's
so
that's that's very important, Alan, because when you talk to mail houses, they don't talk about, the logistics of using Old Dominion versus some other trucking company, but you have all of that dialed in, so you know exactly when that mail is going to drop, when it's going to hit, when it's going to get to the door of the intended receiver. So we know, okay, we should be receiving phone calls, within the next 48 hours or so.
right. And then we don't mind doing it, but we can seed your mail. And if you have, depending if you are doing multiple cities and you have somebody in the city, we can always mail one back to you. So if you're in the area, if you're in Timbuk 6 and I'm mailing to New York,
Mhm.
I can't put a seed in there because it's not in the area that we're mailing. So,
So
but
what
if you
does
are in the area, we can put a seed in there.
clarify what
But
a seed is, Alan, so
Oh,
everybody will
okay.
know.
A seed is basically you give me your name, address, city, state, zip, and I mail a piece of mail of your mail that you're doing for us, that we're doing for you. So you get a sample of the mail, and you get to see when it hits. And so, and then we can add a couple extras in different areas if you want. If you have a salesman that's in a particular city and you're mailing into that city as well as in your city, and you're separating the mail for two separate drops, we can do anything you want on that side of it, or
Okay.
is seeding the mail. So you get a copy of it and you know when it hit.
Perfect. Perfect. So you guys will be able to receive a copy of that mail piece, know exactly when it hit, and know exactly the verbiage and everything on what your letter or postcard looks like. So, Alan, let me ask you this. From all of your years of experience, what do you think is better, postcards or full letters?
Well, I'm telling you, I really do believe in a lot of statistics that the National Association of Direct Mailers have provided over the years. We used to get books that weighed 55 pounds of database information. And now that we're, completely computerized, the books went away. But the thing that's interesting for the most part is that, it's the technology side of the post office is extremely up to date. So a lot of people don't know this, but every piece of mail that goes through the MLSs that are an automated processing system that sorts the mail at 20,000 pieces an hour, and they have some of them plants. So I think the Phoenix plant has 35 of them at 750,000 a piece. Everything is taken a picture of. And what that does, that if you don't know what informed delivery is a free service. Go online, sign up for it at your house. They'll do it for the homeowners. They're not really doing it for businessmen, but you can sign up and get your mail coming to your home, and you get an email in the morning prior to it hitting, and you actually see your pieces of mail in your email, what's coming.
Wow. Wow,
So
that's
if you had
good.
a $10,000 check you're waiting for putts and futz and futz and putts, you know, you're looking for it, so, you know,
Okay. So
that
it's
kind of
so
thing.
it's
So,
so it's safe to say for you believe that the letters are a better quality or get a better response rate than postcards. Is that what I'm
okay.
hearing?
And okay. So thank you for going back to that. So by telling you how the post office works, now I'm going to explain what the actual statistics are.
Okay.
I would say, and national direct mailers say 75% of your response of that mail is the quality of the list. And by the quality of the list is how old is the list, how well is it maintained, Did somebody do national change of address? I mean, you go through, and so you could buy a list from a list provider that didn't do anything other
Yeah.
than they have been really clean in the list. But when we get it, we're gonna tell you, you got some problems with this list. The way it look. I mean,
Right.
it's not what it's not up to snuff of what people are getting. And so the list is 75%.
Okay.
The thing that is key is most of my people who are doing postcards tend to do multiple mailings to the same list. Some people will do up to, and the National Mailing Association does say you could do it up to 7 times. Okay.
Okay.
The
Mhm.
same postcard. So what happens when you do 2 or 3 mailings? You're really branding yourself. Okay, so if you
Okay.
create a postcard that's kind of different, which I just did for a client, and this is the first guy I ever did who is a painter of homes, right?
Okay.
So on the one side, we did artwork that looks like Picasso with a painter with using a roller going up on one of the hit points at the top on the right side.
Oh,
So I
wow.
mean, you could get creative in all kinds of ways. You don't have to, but the message that is on the address side is important to have call to action words
Hmm.
that stimulate somebody to pick up the phone or give them a point that requires them to get more information to feel like, I would really want to hear about this special,
Right.
and get them motivated to call you. But redundancy tends to work.
Okay.
So whether you're doing an envelope with a letter, we did create for one customer a postcard that we put in because he was doing redundancy. Okay.
Okay.
And on the card, it basically said one thing. The card was to say thank you for opening and reading the card. The
Hmm.
second thing was to provide a referral. Ask him if he knew somebody, and we would. And one customer put $1,000 on it as a referral fee. So if you
Wow.
refer
Okay.
somebody to us, on the card says we will be happy to pay you $1,000 for the referral. So I mean that is totally out of the norm. Nobody's ever thought about doing that, but it is, by doing an envelope, you could put certain messages on the card.
Hmm.
And the latest thing is we have been doing huge volumes of Astra Bright postcards that are a liftoff lemon, pulsar pink. They're
Okay.
hot colors that just stand out. And so when you print with it, you don't have to print color because the background is so hot looking.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. Okay.
And so just to show you one of the cards, there's the card, and
Okay.
that's liftoff lemon. And so, from that standpoint, we can just do black printing, save you money. And we actually, on most of those cards, print here.
Okay.
If you get into any huge volumes, we have 12 plants around the country that we do business with. One company that actually has 12 plants, and we can outsource that postcard cheaper than anything I can ever do,
Okay.
considering the huge volume that they're doing.
So it's
And
real.
so,
So it's real important. One, to have that call to action. Two, to do it multiple times. Correct. And
correct. Yeah.
postcards and letters both work. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. What else did I wanted to ask you is tell us the difference between the live stamp
An Adicia. That's
and
called an
yeah, and
Adicia, the square
yeah,
box.
the bulk.
Uh-huh.
Yep, the bulk stamp.
Yeah. So the post office will allow you to purchase a 10-cent stamp, and that we buy on rolls. Sorry, 1 second here.
Mm-hmm.
We buy on rolls of 1,000. That's a 10-cent stamp, and then we make up the difference on the postal statement.
Okay.
So the post office allows you to put a stamp or an Adicia square box from your permit number. Ours is 2444, or you can meter it. They don't care what 3 ways you want to do it, but there are 3 ways. There's not a 4th way, but there is 3 ways. And
Okay.
so you could put a live stamp. I like they're absolutely putting a live stamp on an envelope. We do
Okay.
put a squiggly over it with a town circle that looks like it got canceled from the post office.
Okay.
And
Well, why is that
and
important? Why is that important, Alan?
well, it just tends to make it look, because the cancellation is an important thing on every stamp. The post office has to run that cancellation
Yep.
squigglies over the stamp so you can't reuse it.
Okay. So it makes it
You
really
know,
look authentic.
yeah, so it looks authentic. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So guys, you're listening to a direct mail professional. I mean, he's giving you some key things that most people won't share with you. You know, he's talking about live stamp versus bulk stamps, talking about, you know, postcards versus letters, walk sequence, sorting. He has the contact to Old Dominion, so he knows exactly where your mail is. So he provides a lot of excellent service. And Alan, let me ask you this. All right. So you've been doing this for numerous years. A lot of people say that, hey, you know what? Direct mail is dead. What's your response to that?
Okay, say that again. Direct mailers did
Yeah,
what?
a lot of people in the industry say, hey, you know what? Direct mail is dead. You don't want to do
Oh,
direct
direct
mail.
mail is dead. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
What's your
Uh,
response to that?
well, direct mail has slowed down to some extent. That is true.
Mhm,
Well, but mail has slowed down since COVID dramatically,
mhm.
and all kinds of venues. And the post office, I was just there yesterday and met with the dock manager, and he has statistics that he's willing to share with me without getting in trouble.
Okay.
But they're definitely suffering.
But there's a lot of direct mail still going out, right?
I have one customer that has equipment from me that's in the mortgage side of the business, and they have slowed down a little bit, not much. With the interest rates the way they are, that affects it. And so the economy itself, not me to be an expert economist, but
Hmm.
when you kill real estate, the country suffers so bad. Because
Yeah.
when I was around when Jimmy Carter took it to 22%, and I'm telling you, it was dead. I mean, who's going to
Well,
write
we don't
a
want to see
mortgage
that.
at 22%? You know, and we're not even at 7 yet. You know,
Right.
and it's definitely affected the industry. But consistency, it's not about a volume that you're doing. It's there are in the industry for the real estate industry, there are 17 derogatories that somebody could pull. And I did
Mhm.
have a customer in Houston, Texas, this lady who took her time to pull all every one of the derogatories she could find in the Houston area and built a list and sent it to me.
So
And I think at
guys,
her point it was like, so a derogatory is late payments,
yep.
behind here, issues here, anything that's negative from a financial standpoint that would show up on a credit report, and other people share that with you. So you could get in and just doing derogatories. I mean, there are different parts of this industry that people do tend to specialize in, and
Hmm.
I have really three clients that do mortgages. The mortgage is held by the owner of the home that he sold,
Yep.
and they keep the mortgage and provide
The seller financing.
accepting payments. What was it?
Seller financing.
Seller financing, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And so they go after those guys who are holding the note on the
Right.
house, and there's just that list is available too. So I mean, there's a lot of creative ways to find lists, and it's up to everybody to test what they're gonna receive and try to create something around that that's
Okay.
a soft sell. If you're in a negative financial scenario, we're here to help you. We've helped X percentage of people that we've introduced ourselves to that are, and then you can do slow captions of people's response, especially if you can get them to send you a thank you to your email, then it's
Hmm.
allows you to then go ahead and post it. you
Okay.
know
So Alan, if someone wants to get in touch with you in regards to you doing their direct mail, how can we reach out to you? How can we get in touch with you?
Well, I make it very easy for everybody to get a hold of me personally as the owner of the company. And you can call me at 602
Mm-hmm.
750 1703. And that
Okay.
is my cell phone number. So the number that we really prefer people calling in on under AG Partners in Technology is 602 273 1928.
Oh,
So if you text me on my cell phone, I will send you an email. So as long as you provide me an email, and I'll give you our complete dossier, so you have it, and you
okay.
can be able to get me in multiple ways.
So guys, remember, Allan does this as a bulk and he's doing this as a favor to me. Please, you have to have a $750 mailing minimum. $750 mailing minimum. Normally, Allan likes to work with clients that's mailing 5,000 pieces. And please do not reach out to him if you got 250 letters you want to go out. We don't want to waste his time. We want to make sure he's providing service to those who truly need it. If you're doing 250 pieces, do like I did in the beginning. Just handwrite the letters and send them in the post in the mail yourself. Do 50 a day or 25 a day or something like that. But for you guys that's looking to mail quite a bit, make sure you reach out to Allan. And then again, remember, one of the things that he said was consistency is key. So if you're mailing 5,000 pieces, make sure you separate those drops so that drop can go out over time, and make sure that you're ready for the next drop. So don't just spend all of your money at once and blow everything, but just make sure you sparse it out over time.
Yeah, I would, 2,500 is not a bad number to get a sampling to start out with. I mean, you can hand me a list of 10,000 names. Again, I'll clean it, put it in pre-sorted order, and we can do the first 2,500, get a flair for what kind of response you're getting and with the list that you provided me. And then we go from there. Yeah, the 750 does include everything, your postage, my printing, and all my services to complete that. And so I'm giving that as a gesture to Marcus because we've known each other for so long. And so I look forward to helping everyone. And so if you have any questions, feel free to call me again at 602 750 1703. And it's Allan Goodman, Allan Goodman.
All right,
Easy to
guys.
spell, but Allan
Yep.
goes a few ways.
So you guys know what to do. Remember, if you're doing cold calling, you're doing text messaging, anything like that, direct mail is still key. Direct mail is still one of the most used marketing mediums out there. So contact Allan again, 602-750-1703. That's Allan Goodman. Allan, I really appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for providing this to our listeners.
Yeah, thank you so much too.
Thank you for listening to today's show. I picked up some great actionable items, and I'm sure you did as well. If so, let me know. You can always reach me via social media at facebook.com/MRCSMaloney, Twitter at MRCSMaloney, and of course, IG at MRCSMaloney. You can also always reach me via email at mmaloney@equityri.com. Make sure you reach out to our guests as well. You can always find their contact information in the show notes below. If you have not subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Join the family. And while you're at it, leave us a 5-star review. This is how we tell if we're providing you with what you need for your journey. If there's someone you would like for me to interview, or if there's a subject matter you would like for me to cover, please let me know. Finally, if you're looking for additional information about real estate investing, go to equityrealestateblog.com. Also, youtube.com/Marcus Maloney. Until next time, family, always enjoy the journey.